Hello, welcome to JacobsLadders Day Trading Weekly Review. In this video, I'm going to review how the levels gave various levels of trading setups throughout the week and how did they perform. And this will be very useful for anybody who is trying to use my level system to help with their trading on how to recognize these levels and what are the strategies that I identify and how do I use them. So this will be a good example. So first, the disclaimer, JacobsLadders levels are my personal trading system. I'm sharing them for educational purposes only. These predicted price levels are not personal trading recommendation to others. If you use these levels, you assume all risks associated with trading using these levels. There is no warranty as to the completeness or accuracy of the levels produced here. There is substantial risk of loss of capital when trading and or investing. A brief introduction about the JacobsLadders levels in case you are watching this for first time. It's a day trading system and I create a set of levels and a strategy on how to use them. I generate two sets of trading levels for each trading day. A pre-market level that comes at 4 o'clock and RTH or regular trading hours levels that is published at 10 o'clock, both at Eastern Standard Time. And visit my website for more information and also to subscribe these levels so that you can use them to help with your own trading. And about my website, there is a specific page where the sample trading strategy is published and there's a couple of links, rules, and sample strategy trading setups. And it's very important to understand those two contents. And this is a screenshot of the page where I put every single setup. So my levels contain my level system contains these levels starting from OPG, which is the opening price, and from there is a level high 1, high 2, extreme high 1 and extreme high 2, and I mark which one of them are major, and then downwards these levels low 1, low 2, extreme low 1 and extreme low 2. Except OPG, everything else is major, so every time they are encountered for the first time, these are the setups on how to use them. Opening is the only level that is conditionally major depending on certain conditions. So, and it is very important to familiarize with the content of this page before anybody tries to use these levels if they would like to. Next, weekly review. What is the content here is that I review each day's levels and go through each setups that occurred, that referencing to the previous page that I was talking about. So these are all predefined. So the best part of this is that I don't have to think, that you just automatically execute your rule book. And I review how many of them were success and how many of them were fails. And then total handle that ran up from the level. So this is important to understand what it means. I understand that nobody will be able to capture every single handle that ran up from a level. But it's important to understand how many handles it ran up against each level and what was circumstances from which it ran up and what was the time under which what level of oversold or what level of bought situation were there. So it helps the user to understand and come up with a profit taking strategy. For example, in the early part of the day, the levels may not be that high, it may not run up too much, so it may not be that great to wait for a very long levels run up. But when it goes into a more as the day develops after 10 o'clock, you might get more information. And also it's important to understand that nobody's trading from a cave, so there is a context awareness which is very important for a day traders to be successful. So what works for 2 handles today may be worth 10 handle setups or 40 handle setup another day. It depends on the big picture, how much we have sold or bought or what critical bigger picture levels they are against, etc. And here is the way that I assess the trading. So there is a day I list each and every single day of the trading and how many were setups available and how many were success, how many were fails, and total run-up handles. But before I go into more details, I will pause here and then I go into the actual chart. So starting with Monday 31st, the last trading day of 2018, and I put both European levels, pre-market levels, and a regular trading hours level side by side. And I put the first one were level high on pre-market, and there were two sets of allowed against them, 1 and 2, and they ran successfully +2 and +9. The +2 one was a blind fade that succeeded. The +9 was the one that that was identified as a second strategy, where if you see sustained resistance against the level, then you can re-enter again. And coming back from here, the level low became a blind fade entry, and it gave 4 points. And from there, it went back to opening, and that is also a blind fade setup according to my rule book. And that ran all the way to 23 handles. And then the market opens, and against level, pre-market level, there were additional setups on the buy side, on the long side also. So there's a +4 setup that ran, or the first blind fade, and second extreme low one blind fade gave another +6, and then finally extreme low 2 also gave another +5, and that gave 2 setup, a blind fade and a sustained support setup. As you can see, there were more than 15-20 minutes of support that qualifies as a sustained support. And once it came back above, the opening became a resistance again. And there are some other setups that I did not quite mark. This is another low setup that is being tested as a resistance, but it's not a blind fade yet. That's why I did not mark it. Then it came back to opening, and it gave a +2 reaction before it broke above. And then finally, the pre-market opening became another 15 to 20 minutes of resistance, which ran down 20 handles. So all in all, there were 10 setups. All of them were success, and there were 80 handles total that ran up. So this is why I was talking about that. If you at least trade in 2 contracts, you can always trade the first contract for a +2 handles profit, and then move the entry to break-even stop, and then let the runner, and then you decide how many more handles that you want to take profit on. I provide all this information so that you can decide what works best for you. Now I move on to Tuesday's levels. I'll adjust the chart a little bit so it's visible. So there were not much setups on pre-market till this time, where the opening became. So this is Wednesday, by the way. Tuesday was a market holiday. So this is important here. I did not mark an entry setup here because the market opened at 2467, and it ran up quite a bit. But I did not book any handles against it because it's not that easy, because market just opened, but it did give sustained support against opening. And it's not for a beginner trader or somebody who needs a very quick handle and quick decision making. But the setup is there that the market refused to stay under it. There was no closing candles, not a single one under the opening. And that was the first clue. At least at this time, you understand that this is not a selling market, because prior day it sold a lot, and then, but it is not, coming down to sell anymore. So that was the first clue. But then it went up all the way here, and then pre-market level high became a fade entry, and that first gave us 10 handle run. If you did not take that, for example, then there is another entry that was there. That is regular trading hours high, and that gave again more than 10 handles pulled out. So that is why I counted them there. And then that day's level high gave second setup. So there are only 2 setups allowed in my system against a single level. So the second setup gave a +5 before it broke again. And there was no other clean long entry immediately. It just bounced from here. There is there are some handles that gave support, but that was not enough for 10 to 15 minutes. This is a 1-minute chart, so it's not really giving enough chance to try that long yet. At least in my system, there may be other ways, or if you can use your own trader instincts, you can get back into the long. But I'm just strictly following the strategy and explaining how they work. But once it gets up to level high, it became it came back, and opening became level high back test became a support. I'm sorry, I kind of forgot what I was trying to explain here. So I forgot the context. So level high broke above, it went up to high 1 and almost to high 2, like halfway between, and sustained support is being shown there. So that is a support of level high, and that ran 24 handles, and it went to high 2, and it gave a first blind fade entry which ran 6 handles once, and the second resistance entry gave 23 handles on that next time. There were total 5 setups, all were success, and there were a total of 60 handles run up from this level. I created this system for the purpose of making 4 handles a day, just 4, and there is plenty of handles to be had every single day. So so it is just important to understand, if you just follow the rules exactly as it said, it is very the system works as designed. I move on to Thursday, and I will adjust the labels so that I can move the chart a little bit. So here in pre-market, there were 1 long entry from level low and a fade entry from opening as a resistance that ran 6 handles, and then back again, second test, second setup against the same level. And the third and fourth setup I did not count. So there were 18 handles ran up from there enough. And then this one is important to understand. This is a good example of when the blind entry is canceled. So if you look here, the price came within 2 handles of the level here, level high. So the blind fade is canceled, because my definition is that if it came within 2 handles and I already reacted this much, then it's not a blind setup anymore, and that avoids certain unnecessary stops out. And as you can see, it never really gave a better resistance anymore. Moving on, the first test, next one was level low as support here, and that also ran up. I should not be actually using this because it actually was a 5th support setup, so that's not a valid setup anymore. I removed it, but there are still plenty of handles to be had there. And the next one was a support against low, and that failed. So I now use a system here somewhere to show when can you take a stop. So I did use a -7 stop here, but in a big, and then just below that, the level low 2 from pre-market was support again. So even though the first one is a stop, there is the blind fade by rule book, and that came all the way back, giving offsetting that previous loss. And the next one is extreme low 1 against pre-market level, and that went all the way 40 points. And that is pretty much okay. There's more, and that Thursday evening, this is the NFP, the day before NFP, and it hit the regular trading hours low 2 level, and it was testing, but it never lost that support. It just dipped 3 handles and bounced pretty strong. It actually bounced 100 handles by Friday. So this is another thing that I mentioned about being context aware. So for example, it's pretty known that when pre-market, the eve of certain important days, price tend to climb up gradually back. So if somebody is wanting to try to find an entry, this is how the level system comes to use, because you wait for an important level like low 2 and keep a runner from there. And, I don't think anybody would know that it's going to run up 100 handles. But if there are so many different kinds of traders out there, some people really believe that it's going to run up for 200 points and they want a system to catch it and keep a runner. This is the kind of way that you can use a runner system against a major level so that you can keep profitable runners. But if I just want, most people who day traders should be happy to get 10 to 20 point runners, which was there, Then I move on to Friday. So two setups again, level high pre-market, perfect fades without taking any hit. The first setup and second setup were successful, and back test of opening as support, which ran pretty high. So if somebody is again expecting, a, believe that there is a more longs coming, and if somebody kept a runner, that is a one way to keep that system going there. There were actually multiple times opening came support, one and second setup also, even if you let yourself get stopped out and re-enter there, because there were two distinct support setups that happened. And was the price was grinding up, as you can see, the pre-market high 2 gave a +4 reaction there, and then when it came to extreme high, again it did not give you an entry because it came within 2 handles limit, but it reacted already. So now you lost your entry, and the next test, as you can see, it blew it through. And the test after that was level high from RTH, which reacted here. I forgot to add how many handles it is. So it is more than 80 handles already, but it doesn't really matter. There's plenty of handles there anyway. And further from there, EXH to extreme high 2 levels from pre-market went up there and then retraced +16 handles. So that concludes my summary for the week. And to go back to the summary list, and this is how I summarized them. Total setups from Monday till Friday. So out of all the setup, there were only one setup that actually failed that I reviewed, and everything else at least gave a +2 handle reaction. And there were 80, 60, 140, 300, 380 plus handles that ran up from that level. So hopefully this will help you to come up with a strategy if you plan to use these systems to help with your trading. Thank you for listening.